And we're back with I guess, our first episode of season 44.
Together, united.
Yes. Coach Drew, Emily, sorry, I like really blanked there.
Because you missed me too much. You're lost for words. I knew it.
Episode 2 of Survivor 44. Mm-hmm. And I was, I'm already in. So I know I keep saying it goes 42, 43, 41 for me. Mm-hmm. I feel like 44 is right now at the pace that they're going. They're either going to burn out or they're just going to keep going with like maybe 2 episodes in the middle there.
Right.
Maybe. But 44 has been off to a great start.
Are you obsessed?
No, not yet.
I am.
We're only 2 episodes in, but I feel like by the time we make it to the fake merge, I could be.
Yeah, mergatory. Yeah. What do you think that it's just the cast? Because I feel the same way as you. Like this season, like, is so entertaining for me. I think that they did a really good. I think that they learned a lot from the trial runs of like 44 to 43. Not that they were just trial runs, but I think they got a lot more audience feedback in this new era of Survivor, I guess. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm shocked. I think it's like the blend of the casting, how they are peppering in the backstories now, and they aren't giving as in-depth for every single person, which I think can really lull back a little bit. And like the humor is just like amazing. I think that they're doing such a good job with this season.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we still have to deal with them spending a lot of time talking about the advantages and all that. Right. And, that I don't think that's ever going to change. So we might as well just shut the fuck up about it at this point because it's not going to, it's not going to change. But I do feel the ways they are like, and I think it's a testament to the casting choices that they have so far this season. And I'm sure you'll get to that in a little bit. But like watching this cast interact with these advantages that have been presented, I feel like it's really adding to the excitement of it. I can sit in a bar and be screaming at the TV while also playing trivia and paying more attention to what's going on the TV than I am to the questions that are being asked. My draft is probably shit at this point because I lost 2 of my 4 people in the first episode.
Who else did you lose? You lost. Who else was in your draft?
I thought I had Maddie and Bruce.
You have Bruce and you have Brandon right now, and then I'm looking at your winner pick, and it's Franny, which it's looking a little rough for her right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Franny's winning. Oh, I mean, we'll get to that aspect in a little bit, but I'm really enjoying what we are getting so far.
Me too. Yeah, I think honestly, you're 100% right. I think that they've done such a good job at really setting us up this season for us to root for a whole bunch of people. But it's not even just they're making cases for everyone. I think they're doing a great job at making cases against a lot of people. I was talking about, like for example, like Matt and Franny, like or Matthew and Franny, I guess. Like I don't remember. But like that in itself can be like really challenging. Them being in a duo. Matthew, which we're going to get to in a moment, like is so likable and he could be such a great asset, but now he's already openly bragging about all the different, all the different things that he did to prep for the game in front of everyone, which could be a big thing against him. I think that Kane, poor Kane right now, like he's at the very bottom of the alliance because he's the only one who voted for Brandon, but you can see that they each have a case for them and that they each have a case against them instead of just like sugarcoating one person's pathway to the end. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, absolutely. And I will say that, as much as I try to sit here and say, I don't think that you can tell early on how things are going to go. I will say that right now we're learning the main characters. And I do feel like one of the main characters early on will probably win.
I agree.
As compared to 41 and 43, where I think they purposely try to hide the winner because, and we're going to touch on this a little later, Jeff's podcast about, I think at some point he mentioned, oh my God, do you actually listen?
Oh my God, yeah, it's so good. Have you been listening to it?
Absolutely not.
Really? Oh, you just killed me.
Not.
It's so interesting.
I believe it. Mm-hmm. I'm not listening to it, but I think that this season is going to be someone that we're being shown a lot of.
Yeah.
And Franny is still my winner pick because we are getting a lot of Franny content. Now, sadly, even though she is slowly climbing up her way through my crush's ranking, she is now, it seems like they are doing a showman's thingy with her and Matthew or Matt.
Yes. I think it's Matt. Yeah, I think it's Matt. Matthew, I think, is my winner pick. The barber. Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't want the showman because people are going. I mean, there is a very big meme going around of someone judging the two of them,
Claire.
which is already one of my favorite Survivor memes of all time.
So good. So good. I wanted to ask you because Kim actually already asked us this question. We already started talking about our fantasy league. So thank you for asking, Kim. For those of you who haven't joined us in a while, we set up a fantasy draft this year where we each pick 2 power players. So they're basically people who won't necessarily win, but will make the most dynamic moves and will earn us points. So like if they find an idol, if they find an advantage, if they play it, we each get points for that. And we have 1 winner pick. So like those are the people that we were navigating. Andrew, you chose Bruce, RIP, and then Brandon, and then your winner pick was who did I say? Franny, right? So how do you feel about where you're at right now with your people?
Well, I mean, I hope that the showmance is not the showmance that everyone thinks it is. Mainly because I feel like in 2023, people are smart enough to realize they should not let showmances go longer than they have to. Now, if this is the showmance, obviously I hope they get rid of the male in the equation, and so that everyone leaves Franny alone, she can do her thing and get to the end and win. Now, what's surprising me about a lot of people online is it seems like I'm not in like a minority with saying that Franny is very high on a lot of people's lists.
Yeah,
which I'm scared of kind of because usually if you're high on a lot of people's lists, it means you're not going to win. Ricard, Shan, Mike Turner. But I do feel like I might have gotten this one right.
I think you might have too.
It's super early, but I think I may have gotten this one right.
Right. I think that the duo is going to be broken up. I think they're definitely hinting at that. But I think that like the way that they're presenting Franny versus the way they're presenting Matt right now, it shows that Matt's a little bit more invested in the relationship itself. And that could be in a detriment because already all the tribe is all talking about it. But it seems just, again, by the way they're showing it, that they're more team Franny than team Matt, and if they had to pick. Cool.
I feel like when it started to get out there that there was going to be a showmance this season, I didn't clock it was going to be the 2 of them. And a lot of people clocked it was going to be the 2
really?
of them. Like, really? Yeah, I was like,
I didn't see that coming at all.
And then when within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the episode, it's showing them walking together. I'm like, oh God, actually, this is actually what it's going to be. Like these people really guessed right or looked up spoilers. Either one. And I'm not about showmances usually on the show.
How dare you?
But I don't want Survivor for those types of relationships. But I still think that Franny is probably in a good spot right now. I'm hesitant to say this, but I don't think there's a way that she doesn't make the merge. But we'll see.
We're gonna see next week.
We'll see next week when she's born.
That's what I'm saying. Like I put because now that I'm kind of understanding more of the group dynamics, like we also another part of this fantasy league is that we wager votes on who we think is going to be voted out. So I divided mine in between like basically Franny and Matt, and then I peppered a few in as well with I think 2 with Claire or something like that. So I think that they're definitely hinting that this is going to be if the rest of the tribe knew what was good for them, they would probably break something up that was getting strong. If one person was very loyal. My fantasy league is doing great, by the way. And Kate, thank you for asking. So we have 17 people. I'm currently 7th place. It's whatever. But I'm in a good spot. Like, so I have Jam Jam. I know Jam Jam's gonna make it to merge. There's no way you can tell me otherwise. I think that he's in really good. He's in the core alliance now that it's Carson, him, and Carolyn. Apparently, didn't see that one coming.
Did you know the 3 people that everyone picked to win in the preseason?
I knew Jam and Carolyn were going to be together, but like I thought that Carson was absolutely going to connect more and just like want to work more with Helen and Sarah. So that was a big shock to me. I think he's going to make it. I wish that I was seeing more of Lauren. I feel like, we didn't see a lot of her obviously last episode. So I'm not really sure how I feel about her. But Matthew is killing me, dude. Like, I know that I mentioned to you before, like sweetest, just so sweet, but I'm so scared that he's going to keep making these huge, gestures and that are just going to come to bite him in the butt later. I don't know if he's going to make it to the merge. Do you think so?
Let's touch on some of those gestures. Those include.
Well, we're going to start with the big rock because I feel like that's like, like he's so excited to just soak everything in, I think that's one big thing. And we talked a little bit a second ago about, during the challenge, like he asked them all to like put him on this snake thing, and then Jeff like asked him more for like how he did that and how he learned so quickly, and like he's just showing everyone his cards saying that he knows how to build it, and he built it by himself in the back, and like and Carson even picked up on it and was like, I would never do that, even though I absolutely did do that, but I just wouldn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Do you think that was a good move? Am I crazy here for thinking that this is like that puts a big target on your back if he makes it to merge?
Yeah, and I also, I feel like this is very easy for me to say. This is someone that's never played the game or whatever, but I feel like almost anything though pre-merge, if you put yourself too far out there, and one, if your tribe mates are seeing it, and two, if people in other tribes are seeing it happen, it's the Jonathan thing from 42, which I mean he ended up getting Final Four, so it doesn't really matter. But like Tori continuing to point out that Jonathan's this big dude, people kind of looked at that towards the merge, and I feel like we're probably going to, if all parties involved make the merge, I feel like that is something that even if it's not shown on camera, people are going to be talking about.
Right. I agree.
So I mean, I agree with you, but I feel like almost everything at some point or another could be looked at as negative.
Yeah. And I like, now that I'm thinking about this too, I'm like, okay, well, at least like he discussed this early. I think that maybe he like discussed it because he discussed it so early in the game that it's going to be something that like maybe we won't see again. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be like forgotten about if he makes it to merge.
And especially if these people are dehydrated and haven't eaten anything, their memory is not going to be.
Oh my god! Yeah, I was like, are you kidding? But like, I am excited. Like, at least like it gave me a little bit of hope too, because his shoulder on the first episode was making me so nervous. I was like, there's no way he's going to get voted out the next time they go to tribal. And so, I mean, the fact that he showed that he was able to use it and win a challenge, that says a lot about how he's recovering.
Yeah, I agree. And this is a very weird segue, but I just have to go to this for a second because you listen to this person's podcast.
Jeff Probst.
Is it true that at some point Jeff tried to kind of put the kibosh on there's no such thing as a winner's edit?
He did. He said that. And I listened to that like last week. And he's like, I don't know what everyone's talking about. There's no such thing as a winner's edit. But like, he's like, we just tell stories and like all the stories come together. And I'm like, but you have to tell the story of the winner. Like, so there is like, regardless, there has to be an edit to show how the winner won. Does that make sense?
I get it.
Do you agree with me?
No, I get it and I agree. I just wanted to confirm that is something that he said on it. And this is one of the many reasons that I don't want to listen to his, because I know that it's just going to be a slurp fest of, yes, we've done nothing wrong ever, and this, and look how great we are, and all these smart marks at home thinking that they can read the edit. We'll show you, just like we showed you in 43 and 41. Like, you can't, and that's I don't believe in conspiracy theories, but that is my conspiracy theory, is they purposely try to bury Erica and Gabler in the edit to like stick it to the people online that are constantly reading or that are trying to read the edit.
That's an interesting theory. Yeah, I think regardless, I think that sometimes the way that they edit it is the way that these people were perceived. Does that make sense? Like Erica was someone who was like kind of like a snake in the grass. Like, we barely saw her until the merge. And even then she was so good at staying under the radar, which I think is why she didn't get a huge edit, because I wanted to edit it in the same way that the jury saw her, with Gabler. He was the assassin in plain sight. I hate to say it, but like he was there the whole time and we wrote him out. And I think that in itself is a really, really, really interesting way to edit a story. Had everyone flabbergasted.
I don't put any stock into this. Yeah, I don't put any stock into there's no such as a winner's edit.
I agree.
If people can sit here and make videos about how you can look at, I think that I know I've talked about it a lot on here, but like Tyson for me has the most obvious winner's edit, mainly because Tyson's portrayed one way in his first two seasons, and then in Blood versus Water, we don't get Dick Tyson anymore.
Yeah,
we get family man Tyson who cries and does all this other stuff. Like we've never seen this Tyson before. Tyson's winning. So I appreciate the fact that he's finally reaching out to his fans, Jeff. But I can't buy into it.
It is like I would say if you ever have like 30 minutes and you're just like driving to work or something, I definitely would give it a listen at least once, because it definitely, like, I'll find one that's good and then I'll tell you to listen to it. Okay. I'll save you the labor. But it's really, it's really phenomenal because it really talks about like the ideas behind casting, what they look for, like how they like, the advantages that worked versus didn't work. He blamed Tyler Perry for the whole Super Idol. Like it's very, it's crazy. I guess
Super Idol existed before Tyler Perry.
Well, Tyler Perry, I guess, created the idea for it. Like
it's impossible because the Super Idol existed, like the second iteration of the Idol was the Super, like in Fiji and Cook Islands. That was just a Super Idol.
No, I don't know if it was the same one. I don't know if it was the one like for what am I talking about?
So Cagayan was the
Super Cagayan. Idol. Yeah.
The Super Idol in Cagayan was you can play the idol after the votes are counted. Or after the votes are read. The second version of the Immunity Idol in Cook Islands and Fiji was that. Like that's why Yul held it the entire time, and or not Fiji, Cook Islands and no, it was Cook Islands and Fiji. No, it was Panama and Cook Islands.
Okay.
They could hold on to it until the end because everyone knew they had it and no one went to vote for them because all they did was play it after the votes were read. So that's weird that he's saying that he's actually giving credit to Tyler Perry when Tyler Perry's didn't even come till.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, he talked a lot too about like how they even decided to bring the idol in, and like how it was very much a trial and error basis. So I think that he did touch a little bit on like how it was before and like the need for the suspense and how it took like seasons and seasons to even perfect that and get it to where it was. But honestly, I would say give it a listen at least once because it was very interesting.
Does he hate on anyone on there?
I don't.
Does he still shit on 43?
You know who he tipped his hat to a few people that you would find very interesting, but I'm not going to tell you who. I feel like you need to listen to it.
Oh my goodness! I can't wait to hear who he tipped his hat to. So let's talk about Carolyn.
Speaking of advantages,
I feel like Carolyn more than anyone else gained a lot of fans. Like I wasn't lukewarm on her, but it's like okay, everyone likes Carolyn already. I feel like that's just setting her up to, but this episode, I really like, okay, I get it. I think I get it. I'm all about it. So Carolyn.
She's just good TV. Like I've watched like the 2-minute clip between Jam Jam finding out that Carolyn was the target and then her collapsing on the floor whenever Carson agreed to be working with her. Like I think I've watched at this point 15 times. It's my favorite 2 minutes, I think, in the new season of Survivor, just because there's so much depth and so much character in all of this. And
it comes off as real.
It comes off as very authentic. And my friend told me before, Travis, who's been on the show a few times, he was like, if you ever played Survivor, you would play exactly like Carolyn. And that was the biggest compliment I've ever been. Like, I got why she collapsed on the floor because I would probably do the exact same thing, But like, she's a vision. Are you like, what are your thoughts on how her game is going to continue to progress?
Well, I think that she's bound to be a great character, no matter if she gets voted out next week, which I don't think is
No,
going to happen, or she makes it. I don't feel like people are going to get tired of her,
I agree.
like us sitting at home.
Exactly.
I guess the majority. I don't feel like the majority are going to get tired with her. Out there, she's also coming off as neurotic, but like, so when when Idolgate happens, and they're trying to figure out what the hell's going on, it's like, well, what about this neurotic person over here who we all know is kind of like,
Yeah. Well, they said that they didn't think that it was her because she was out for a walk. Like, so like the way they made it look was like she was like sitting and like napping or whatever, and she was on the bed, but she was actually even further away. Like, so they made it look like she got it right whenever they were all gone, you know? But like the timing, it was edited a little bit differently.
yeah.
But
But I think 2 episodes in, she's one of the best characters.
all
I
time
feel like
favorite.
people are going already.
Mhm.
People are going to be talking about her all season. Even let's say she does get voted out at some point. I feel like people will be. Oh, you remember when Carolyn was on the show? I miss Carolyn. Carolyn for All Stars. All that. We're going to get all of that.
Right.
And I think they'll be actually genuine as compared to whenever anyone gets voted out Survivor and everyone's like, no, this person needs to come back. It's like, why? I don't understand. Do you even know this person's last name or one thing they did on the show, good or bad?
Right. She's just so memorable immediately. Like at the get-go, like she's still everything. I think that she's going to be someone who, like, for years and years to come, we're going to want her back.
Absolutely. And I feel like this cast is slowly starting to give more than just her.
True.
I feel like by the end of this, we will kind of look at it as kind of like a David versus Goliath. Maybe not as far as how good it is, but more like we need these 5 people back. We need these, and I feel like the only season from the 40s so far that I could also compare that to is 42, where there's like 5 or more people that I would say I would want back from 42, and probably 4 less for 41 and 43. And that's not saying anything bad about them. It's just talking about characters just in general.
Yeah. And it's just like, and I was telling my boyfriend the other day, I'm like, I just can't believe that there's a cast where Jam Jam isn't like the one with like the biggest, craziest personality as shown like on the edit so far, she even outshines that, which I love Jam Jam. I think he's perfect, but it's like even if there's like she still has that much personality that like it's even more chaotic,
So we deal with Idolgate. We know that Carolyn's name is out there. We get to with all the strategy and everything, we get to Tribal. And I'm sitting in the bar and I'm not drunk, but like I've had enough where it's like she needs to play this.
Yeah.
She has to play this. And my friends are like, well, what happens if she doesn't? I'm like, she's probably gonna go home. And like we don't want her to go home, not yet. So what were your thoughts as the Tribal progressed?
I was panicking because I was like, well, and I was talking about this with Kim, who's also in the audience. Hey, Kim. But like we were like, well, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Helen? Is it going to be Carolyn? Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like obviously, like we haven't seen a lot of Helen's story, so she's probably going to stay. We've already seen a lot of Carolyn, but wouldn't that be? I would be feeling such a loss already to watch her go, but I didn't want Helen to go either. I think that I don't want to say they made the right call, but like I think that Carson made the right call to side with Carolyn and Jam Jam because Sarah didn't have a vote. So because of that, like what were they going to do? Go to Rocks? Like I think that was he was in a tough position, and then he recognized that his only way was to make sure that he pledged that allegiance early to help to save some face.
Yeah. I mean, it was a fun Tribal. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh yeah, that was an all-time classic. It wasn't, but I enjoyed it for what it was. One of the big complaints that a lot of people have with modern day Survivor is Tribals are boring. We've had 2 Tribals so far this season.
Yeah, and they've been electric.
And neither one of them has been boring.
No.
Now, obviously, we're going to eventually run into a boring one or like an easy vote one. But until that happens, like we're on a good streak right now of 2 in a row. And I do see that because I do feel like these people are out there. Yes, they're super fans, but I also feel like they're out there trying to one, be characters, and two, actually play the game.
Right.
And I think it's a testament to the fact that everyone outside of the game knows everyone. Like, there's not anyone that's like, who?
Yeah.
I don't remember what this person. I don't remember what this person looks like or whatever. I feel like we've had that so far with certain people, 41 through 43. Like even Maddie, who she was fun in her
I
whatever.
wanted her to stay. I was kind of bummed to see her go so early. I appreciated her ferocity.
Me too. I mean, that's why she was pretty high on my list. But I definitely think that, like I said, I feel like 44. The trajectory is either just keep going, or keep going, fizzle out. Hopefully not all the way, or keep going and have like maybe 2 episodes here where it's like, oh, okay, whatever, that's filler, but we're gonna get this next week.
So let me ask you this: now that we're kind of like nearing the end, like who, if you had to put your money on a few people who were at risk, like maybe like just a handful per like altogether, who do you think would go? Who do you think is likely to go home next week, just based on where they're at?
I have no idea because I didn't see this one go. I didn't see Helen going.
I didn't see Helen going home either. Yeah,
I couldn't. I know who it's very easy for me to say. I know who it's not going to be. It's not going to be Carolyn, and it's not going to be Jam Jam, and it's not going to be Franny because she's my winner pick. But
so I would feel like Sarah would be at the bottom of that tribe now. Obviously, I feel like Kane's on the bottom of Ratu. Is it Ratu? Yeah. And then I feel like Matt maybe might be kind of at, like nearing the bottom of Soka. What do you think?
I feel like they're playing a merge game. I mean, and we're only 2 episodes in, but I do feel like I feel like the cards are going to reshuffle a lot during the pre-merge. There hasn't been any type of relationship that's been shown to me on screen where it's like they could take this to the end. I don't see that yet. I feel like people are just going to consistently be trying to jump ship to ship based off of how they're feeling. And I feel like the entire season.
Sorry, my pets are fighting.
Okay, no. I feel like we could get a lot of that, both pre-merge, whatever they do for the fake what do you call it, mergatory?
Yeah.
And actual merge. I feel like we could get a lot of just people just jumping ship consistently. So I can sit here and tell you that I have no clue who is. I couldn't even give you a guess of who was going to go home next week.
Right. Well, you heard it here live. I'm saying that Kane is toast. I'm saying that Matt might be toast. And then I'm saying that I'm gonna put Sarah in there. I think Sarah's also toast. So it's one of those 3.
Yeah, a voting block season, but like from the very so with Millennials versus Gen X. I don't know. That was Trust Clusters with Second Chances. The voting blocks didn't really start until the merge, but I feel like the voting block thing might come into play a lot earlier this season. I mean, if we're using tribal number 1 as a litmus test for how the rest of the season is going to go, then yeah, there's never going to be an episode where it's like, yep,
I agree,
that person's going.
I think that makes. I mean, the plot has just taken off so quickly that you're right. Like anything could change at any moment. You know.
But that about wraps it up. Do you have any final thoughts before we bounce?
No, I think that this is like a conversation. I missed you dearly. We needed this. So yeah, so I'm interested to see where this next episode goes. But you heard my 3 picks, so those are the ones that I'm going to be putting a lot of my votes on this week.
There is a question.
Ooh.
I think that they still do merge. Yeah, I think they still do mergatory. If they don't do mergatory, I don't think it's because Bruce left. But I hope they don't do merge because I don't like that twist. I would rather them just merge or not merge.
I think they're gonna do it anyway though, because Jeff was talking about that in the podcast. Like, you don't earn the merge, and I'm like, you kind of do. You know what I mean? Like
do because
yeah.
out.
Yeah, right. So he was saying that. So I think that Murgatory is just kind of here to stay, unfortunately. But that's the reality.
I guess I'll get over it like I did with all this other stuff. But once again, we thank you for tuning in. We will probably be doing Sundays.
I think I like this time. Do you like this time?
Yeah, Sundays at 7 is perfect.
Perfect. Let's do it.
So Sundays at 7. Thank you all for tuning in, continuing to tune in, and we will see you on the other side.